Okay, Drew McAllister did not practice with the hip. TJ was actually limited. It was hard to tell. TJ McDonald. Buck's still out for the most part. Just did some things. Junior Palme out, but is expected to practice Saturday. Randall tried to go, re-hurt his hamstring. Xavier did the most that he's done since week 1, so that was good. They're in practice. Dallas Kelly, Marquise Simmons, and Trey Madden all came out with injuries. Don't know much more on those. Defense did a good job today going after the ball. Had conditioning for 2 interceptions. And it was good to see them go after it. Hopefully they can do that every day without having to have a reward, just that mentality of going to get the ball.
Trey looked like went down without contact. Is there a concern that could be a really severe knee injury?
Yeah, I think there's that concern anytime, with knees where guys can't really walk afterwards. So we'll find out.
Did you say anything to him? Did you have a chance to say anything to him?
No, I haven't. They just carted him off.
Moving Tony to that Sam linebacker position, obviously we saw him leap up and make the interception today. What was the thinking behind doing that?
Well, it was really, after seeing the success of what Deion's done there and the move from safety to there because of the game changing, and then moving Trey, who was the backup there, over to offense. We just really looked at our roster and just another one of those, moves with the reductions of less players, that we got to investigate. So we'll see how it looks for the rest of spring. Looks good so far, because he is fast. He's actually bigger and stronger than Deion is. So hopefully it can work.
So far, you would assess it as he looks like he's good to go at that spot?
Yeah, he's very physical, and really goes after, the lead plays, which is your worry over there. Those are what Deion has problems with, obviously, because of the size, but he's a very physical player.
You always say there's 2 ways to look at turnovers during practice, and bad for the offense, good for the defense, but creating more takeaways has been a huge emphasis since you've come here, and the numbers are lower than you thought. So you're kind of happy to see that?
Yeah, we are. I think anytime that you're really good at something on one side, limited interceptions last year with 7, and then not that good with not as many on defense as you'd like, you kind of root for that side as a head coach as you go into spring and fall. And obviously when it's the other way, then your concern is that way. So it's actually good to see.
Doing some different looks defensively, different kind of lineups, and all. Is there some experimenting going on with kind of what are you trying to do?
Yeah, there is. Anytime, I think spring's better to experiment than fall, and so we started playing really well in our base stuff last year. We weren't very multiple. We really, after year 1, decided to really limit our defensive calls so our players could play really fast. And with so many guys returning, that they have those things down, and so we're continuing to get better at those, but adding some things.
How has the offensive line looked and performed this spring?
Well, I think that when Collard's in there, he's played really well. Abe has done good at center, backing him up. The 2 guards are playing really well. They're really improved from a year ago as they go into their 2nd year of starting. And the tackles, are a work in progress. We still got to improve there. We're actually playing better inside than outside, and that kind of says to the staff that very unusual over the years here. We've been blessed with phenomenal tackle play over the years, and sometimes we've had to mask some things inside. So we need our tackle play to improve.
Is Andre going to stay at left tackle for the rest of spring?
Yes.
Why are you giving him such an extended run over there?
He just fits better over there. His length and his size. When you look at prototypical left tackles, that's what they're built like. And so hopefully we can work through him getting used to it over there and playing better over there.
So if you were playing a game tomorrow, would he be your starting left tackle?
Yes.
Is that a competition? Will that competition be reopened in the fall, or do you feel like you're going in with he's going to be the left tackle next season?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll look at the whole spring after the 15th practice and put it all together and the cuts and look at it. It's looking that direction, because Kevin played better too. If you leave a guy somewhere he started 12 games at, he's going to play better. So there's 2 sides to it.
We got a tour of the building today. What parts of it did you emphasize the most, or what parts of that building were most important to you?
Well, really, that they would run things by me at times, but I thought that really, when Pat got here and then really turned it over to Mark, and Mark really did a great job. Mark had better information. Mark flew around the country and went to all the best places, and so they would come with ideas. The group they hired has done a good job too. me, but I really haven't had to do very much because between Mark's ideas from going around to places and then Pat making sure that everything was done first class. He'd say a lot of times, I don't want to redo this thing. Let's make sure, regardless of price, we do it right. So, as I think you guys saw, there's not much you'd want to change.
What do you like about it the most, or what's the most?
Well, I like that everything's there for the guys, and for our current players. And then the number one thing in recruiting, as you continue to see, it's about recruiting. We saw that in basketball the other night. You get really good players, and so now that we have this, walking through it already, it's already impacted the last class that signed, and this class that we're getting started on now, and it's not even done yet. So it'll be a great impact for us, because it really gets rid of the negative. The one negative that we had was our facilities. We were a long ways behind, and so to not just catch up but pass other people is really big. And our players, I think, having the players lounge, it's just going to make a more comfortable environment there for all players.
Greg Townsend started inside, now he's back outside. How do you feel he's adjusted to being moved around?
Yeah, it was one of those things, with all these experiments that we're doing, that we decided to get him back outside after putting him inside and not move him too much. So we're going to leave him outside, and he's getting better each practice. He's getting more used to it.
You think he's more comfortable there?
Definitely. He's definitely more comfortable outside. And most guys are when they're young and have been outside players. It's easier to rush outside, and a lot of stuff goes on inside.
But Lamar, he says you guys kind of gave him the 55 when he first got here. What did you see that early that made you decide to do that as a staff?
Well, it's a very unique number, and it's not just about playing. Going through the recruiting process with Lamar and talking to the people at his high school and who he's been for years, and how focused he is as a student athlete and what he represents. He's a team captain type of guy. That's why we did it. Not just because he was a great player.